Thanks, everybody. My name's Ian Slater, the founder and CEO of Libero Copper and Gold. What this company is, as many of you know, is we, together with my partner Leo Hathaway, we founded this company a couple of years ago to acquire large porphyry copper and gold assets in the Americas that had a lot of historical work on them and no fatal flaws. And so far, we've acquired 3 projects in Canada, the US, and Colombia. We have about a $13 million market cap still, and because we've spent the last year acquiring these projects and drill permitting them, and we haven't started drilling any of them yet. We're starting drilling our first project just next month. So I think once people get to know our company and see the results we can get from the projects, that share price will increase. And we just completed a $4 million financing to fund this year's work, and that'll fund us for the next 12 months. And management owns about 15% of the company. So our background, I was managing partner of Arthur Andersen and then Ernst & Young's mining practices, and I've been doing this for about 10 years or so, acquiring mineral assets. My partner Leo has been Ross Beatty's VP Exploration for about that same amount of time, and he was the VP Exploration and did the due diligence and ran the drill programs on all of the Lumina copper assets in the last cycle that were very successful. And then our board, Rob Pease is the head of the technical committee, and has a great career also. He was head of major projects at Placer Dome, and then put Mount Milligan into Terrain, which had a successful exit. And Bill Bennett joined us last year. Bill Bennett was the Minister of Mines here in BC for 16 years before. And he's got great experience with permitting and First Nations relations. These are some of the wins that Rob and Leo have had in the past, and together they've sold projects for around $2.5 billion, and these are our main 2 technical people. I love these next 2 or 3 slides because they really show what we're trying to do on the copper side. This is a list of all of the major copper assets sold in South America in the last cycle. So they typically sell for about $400 million and about 4 pennies per pound. And going forward, really the grade for these large copper projects is 0.4. That's the new standard for large tonnage projects. And the ones with stars beside were the ones that Leo was the VP Exploration on. Here's where we are today. So compared to 4 pennies in a bull market with a de-risked asset, this is a data set of all of the copper developers in the Americas, and medium is only 0.6 of a penny. So a long way to go for the whole set. The boxes at the top of our screen are actually, I'm going to use this laser they showed me how to use. These boxes at the top of the screen are the pounds of copper that each of these developers has in the ground. This is the medium is 0.6 here. Libero, as we start drilling these projects this year, and we're going to drill 2 of the 3 this year, we'll get to that medium as people get to know us and we have results. And then all as a riding tide as we all go into a copper market. And I believe that we were into a bull market for a copper market just starting in February before the lockdown. And we will be back there within 6 to 12 months and much bigger. These supply and demand fundamentals have not changed at all and will be more so when we come out of this downturn. This is those same companies on the last slide, comparing the actual projects underlying those valuations, and these are ranked by grade. But you look at the ones that are around Mocoa. I mean, all these projects have some well-known issue with them, whether it's metallurgy or location. So compared to the world of copper development projects that are available in the Americas, Mocoa compares very well. So Mocoa was discovered in the 1970s. It got to a pre-feasibility study in 1983. So we know that there's no fatal flaws with the project. We know it's good metallurgy. We acquired it from B2 Gold about 18 months ago, and they love the project. It's just a copper project, and they're a gold company. And they had lots of offers for the project, but they like working with us because I knew them well from my 10 years in Colombia where they were working and had experience with permitting and social relations there. And of course, Leo's experience de-risking these type of large porphyry projects. Here's where we are, just in southern Colombia in the Jurassic belt there. Lots of big projects in that same belt and those same rocks in Ecuador across the border. And of course, we're in through those whole Andes. There's many projects, and I selected some on the list on the right hand side here. And Mocoa is great, compares well to lots of operating mines. Most of these are operating mines in neighboring countries. Overall, we have about 1 billion tons of unconstrained resource. Pit can put a pit constraint around it. It's 636 million tons of 0.45 copper equivalent, but with only a 0.26 to 1 strip ratio, so a very good strip ratio. Here's a cross-section of where the opportunity is. So we're going to be drilling this in the fall. We're going to drill our Canadian gold project first this summer, which we'll get to in a minute. What's interesting here is you've got all these high-grade drill results right below the current pit outline. So you can see it on the right-hand side too, the second high-grade core. So we're gonna step out here and drill where it's never been drilled before, and it looks like it continues to the east. Well, if we can convert this area here from waste rock to ore, and it looks like a good opportunity to do so, we can get that pit grabbing that second high grade core at depth, which will really change the tonnage. It's already a great size at 600 million tons, but that could add a few 100 million tons of ore and at higher grade. The other opportunity we have is we've discovered another copper and soils anomaly to 500 meters to the east of Mocoa. So this is Mocoa, where the entire current resource is. Another similar scale and grade copper and soils anomaly that we're going to drill as well. That's it for Mocoa. Just briefly on Tomichi, our copper project in Colorado, so we can get to our gold project, is this is pretty similar to Mocoa. You can drive on that picture there. You could drive right to the project, right to the drill sites. Here's where we are. We're in Colorado, which we're close to Freeport's big moly mines, but really not a lot of copper porphyries in Colorado. But comparing to neighboring states, we compare well to a lot of operating mines there in grade. And the tonnage-wise at Tomichi, it's really open in every direction. It's a lot bigger project than what's been drilled historically. They were pretty shallow drill holes. You can see the shallow drill holes, almost all ending in mineralization and pretty consistent mineralization along in the deposit that's been drilled so far. So as I already said, so far 700 million tons and open. Here's Big Red, our gold project. Let me look at my timer, because I did set my timer, Gwen. I'm good. Is gold. So this is Big Red. The opportunity here was it had a lot of historical work like the other projects, but not drilling. So it had 35 different work programs, mostly in the 1960s. So a lot of surface sampling, but it was never consolidated into one package, so with one company operating it. So that's part of the opportunity here. And the other one was no one had ever digitized this entire data set and analyzed it as a whole. Once we did that, there were some of the highest grade copper and soils and gold and soils anomalies in the entire Golden Triangle. So that's part of the opportunity. And the other part is the glaciers retreating. So this is, on this picture is Ridge, one of our main gold targets at Big Red. And this is what we're going to be drilling this summer. And this just a few years ago, you can look on Google Earth, this was all covered in a glacier. So as that's retreating, last summer we sampled this and there's outcropping mineralization here and here that people have not seen before. Historically, all the samples were along the ridge line here, where was the only place they had access to. So here's where we are. The gray line is the road. So we're the same age rocks as Newcrest Red Chris and Newmont's Galore Creek. There's a lot of similarities to our project, to GT Gold's Tatoga project, especially Saddle South and Saddle North. And you can drive right to our project, which is pretty unusual in this part of the world. Down at the bottom here is the road that ends at a placer mine. So this has been operating for decades here, mining ore from the Barrington River. We've sampled all of this area, and the gold is definitely coming down this creek and this creek here from Ridge and Poker. Because when you sample the other streams, you can see that's concentrated there. What we're looking at here is the purple is Mag High. We just flew a ZTEM survey actually, and right here to the south and to the north, parallel to the Mag High, are conductivity highs. So that underlies right exactly where Ridge, our highest grade gold target, is. So what these green outlines are is is contoured at 1 gram per ton gold for Ridge and East Ridge, though Ridge actually averages 2 grams per ton gold in soils, and lots of 20 gram per ton rock samples. And then we channel sampled 50 meters of 5 grams last year. And then Copper Bowl is 3 kilometers long, contoured at 500 ppm copper. Interesting up here where we had another high conductivity right here with very limited geochem samples. So we're going to sample that this summer as well. And down here, there's a conductivity high in limestone. So that's an interesting target as well that we'll look at this year. And then Poker is interesting. That's a huge glacier here is retreating, a different glacier than what was than the Ridge one. And it's dropping out boulders from underneath it. So there's hundreds of boulders here grading like up to 200 grams gold coming out from the toe of that glacier. So a close-up of this area where we focused our work is our sampling from last summer. So we have 19 multi-element anomalies that we discovered last summer. And so this is where we have copper, gold, and silver all high grade and overlaying each other. Terry was a new discovery that hadn't been sampled in the past. So this is a new porphyry target up here that was, we targeted that from a mag anomaly. Poker was the one I talked about, where each of these red squares are high-grade gold from boulders coming from this glacier. And then Ridge is the main target that we're going to be drilling first. So ME2 is the top of that ridge with a lot of historical sampling and where we had some great results last summer as well. And then ME3 and 4 are between those 3 remnants of the glaciers in light blue here. So first drill Ridge, and then there's lots of other targets which we're going to focus in on through the summer and hopefully get to drilling them as well this summer. This is our final slide here is I took this from GT Gold's website on the left. So this is copper and soils at Saddle South. I took the same from Ridge, so same grade, same scale, same color scheme, and it looks very, very comparable. But there's more comparables than just that as well. As just north of it, where they have their Saddle North discovery. It's a porphyry that looks similar to Copper Bowl, and both beside mag highs as well, and similar type of rocks. So a lot of similarities and exciting drill target for this summer. So just to summarize, what we have is we have a couple projects with large copper resources, which don't have large holding costs. So we have those as we're going into a bull market for copper next year or later this year. And in the meantime, we'll be drilling these really high-grade gold targets in northern BC this summer. And that work program is starting in a couple weeks with the drilling in June. And that's it. Thanks, Glenn.